In this training video, we're going to learn how to move, insert, and copy text within our document and also to other documents. Let's begin with inserting words within the document. And what I mean by that is I'm looking at the second paragraph that starts off as reading, "That statement begs two questions." And I want to add some words in between begs and to read begs us to ask two questions. So if I want to be able to add additional words anywhere within the document, just go ahead and click wherever you want to add the text, and wherever your cursor's at, when you start typing, that's where the text is going to be dumped. You can see that everything to the right of the cursor gets pushed over and down to make way for the newly inserted text. Next, let's learn how to move our text around. And I'm looking at the second paragraph again, thinking that should be the first paragraph. So instead of deleting it and then retyping that up at the top, just go ahead and move it. To move it, you can do it one of a couple of ways. The first way I want to show you is, well, you need to select your text first, or the paragraph in this case that I want to move. And after you have it selected, you can go ahead and click anywhere within the selection. And when you start moving your mouse with it held down, a couple of things happen. First of all, you get this dark line here. And then below the pointer, you see that gray fuzzy box. That means you have something in tow with your pointer. And what's in tow is what we have selected down below. Now when I move it up above here and I want that to be dumped before this paragraph, well, as an example, notice that the black line is there. If I try to dump it in between the two ends, it doesn't matter where the pointer's at, but the line. So if I try to dump it in between the two ends and the line's not there, which it doesn't move it in between letters, but just in between words. So notice that when I let go, it's going to add it before the word Glenn and not where my pointer's at in between the two double ends. Let go. And it's before Glenn here, not in between the two double ends. So if I made a mistake, yeah, sure, I could go ahead and click and drag it back, but you know what? Up here on the Quick Access toolbar, it's a lot easier if I just hit the undo move or the undo button and it undoes the move. So we're back to where we started. So I can try it again. Click and hold the mouse button down and drag it, and let's put the black line right before the first paragraph, let go, and I may have a little cleaning up to do, which is fine. Just click at the end of the paragraph, hit enter, to give us some spacing in between the paragraph, and to take away that extra line spacing between these two paragraphs, put the cursor there, hit the delete key on the keyboard, and it looks good. Okay, let's go ahead and undo that example there. And the point I want to bring up about clicking and dragging your selection is that it's fine and dandy within a viewing area, but if you want to be able to move this down to another page, or you can imagine if you had 30 pages and you want to move it down to page 20, it's going to be a little bit challenging. Let me show you. Let me click and drag. Now I'm dragging down to get down to the second page. You need to get close to the status bar. When you get closer, it moves a little bit faster. If you go too far, it goes over the status bar, and you can see that my pointer's turned into a circle with a line through it saying we can't go any further. Let's just go back above it, and it goes pretty fast, but if you're going down to page 30, that would take too long. And if you get frustrated and you give up, and you're like, forget it, let me just let go of the mouse. Oh, guess where it dumped it? Wherever you let go of the mouse. And so we can come back up here, hit the undo, or the shortcut keys for undo, Control Z, and then go back to where we started. A better way of moving text within your document, instead of clicking and dragging, especially if you have to go to another page and it's not within the same viewing area, is to use the cut feature. And that can be found up here on the Home tab in the clipboard group, and there's the pair of scissors. You can see in the pop-up it says it's going to remove the selection and put it on the clipboard so you can paste it somewhere else. And the shortcut key is Control X. So first of all, it's talking about selections, so you want to make sure you have something selected, because if you click off and you don't have anything selected, you don't have any scissors. So let's go ahead and triple click within the paragraph, come back up here, we have the scissors. And so it says when it cuts it from the document and it stores it on the clipboard, we're in the clipboard group, and there's the clipboard. And so it's got the paste name below it, but that means that you want to take something from the clipboard and paste it to the document. Let's go ahead and click on the pair of scissors. It removes it from the document, stores it on the clipboard. Let's go ahead and hit undo, and the other way you can do it are the shortcut keys, Control X, it disappears. Let's undo that, because the other way that you can also do it is right-clicking anywhere within the selection, and if you right-click correctly, you'll get the shortcut menu and the mini formatting toolbar, and you can get the cut right there. And what I mean by right-clicking correctly, because if you got a shaky hand and you right-click, you get a different shortcut menu. And that can be helpful because that's something new. So what that means is that if you right-click on the selection and you move your mouse, just as we did when we were clicking and dragging, but this time I've got my right mouse button held down, not my left, even though it looks like my left, because there's nothing to indicate to us from Microsoft Word that this is my right or my left mouse button. This is right, and wherever I put that line when I let go, you get the shortcut menu says, hey, do you want to move it here? Instead of just dumping it there automatically, like with the left mouse button clicking and dragging, when you right click, when you let go of the right mouse button, it says you can move, copy here, link here, create a hyperlink, or just click cancel. If I say move there, it puts it right in front of the word show. Let's undo that and right click. Remember, have a steady hand unless you mean to right click and drag as you go along to be able to dump it somewhere. But right click with the steady hand, go up to cut, it disappears, and then you can scroll to some other part of the document in a blank line, like let's say on page 2 you want it there. To paste it, you can do it one of, well, 3 ways. You can right click, and then you get the paste options where the first one, you can see in the pop-up it says keep the source formatting. So it'll take the text, it'll paste it here, but also it'll keep the source's formatting, meaning that if you had something applied to the text like bold, it was italicized, the color of the text was red, it's going to keep the formatting. Or you can choose the second option, merge the formatting, so it merges in with the formatting around here that's consistent, or you can just keep the text only, don't even worry about formats. So click on that and, well, okay, we've got the end of the paragraph here, here's the paragraph we just pasted, and then here's the next paragraph, so you may want to clean it up just a bit by clicking before, hitting enter, and clicking after. There you go. You can do it that way, or let me hit undo a couple of times. Now, do I have to go back and cut it again? No, because it's still on the clipboard. In fact, let me scroll back up so I can show you. It's not there, right? As long as I don't close out of the program, it'll keep it on the clipboard. Unless you want to undo it again and then recut it, that's fine. So Control X cuts it. We'll just scroll down just a little bit and then click in a blank line. The other ways of pasting this, instead of right clicking and getting the 3 paste options, is you can come up here on the clipboard and simply click on the clipboard and it'll do a simple paste, and you can see it's right there. And then out of the simple paste you get a little smart tag. You can click on the drop down arrow and get those 3 paste options that we just went over. Or let me undo that. You can click on the paste drop down arrow and do some special pasting, which we'll cover a little bit later on, but let me click off. Or you can use the shortcut keys, Control V as in Victor, and you get the smart tag, click on the drop down arrow, and you get those paste options in case after you pasted it, you're like, hey, wait a second, I want to make sure that the formatting that was applied to this doesn't disappear. So I'll go ahead and click on the paintbrush to keep the source formatting, or no, I want it to merge with the current formatting, or I just want to keep text only. So let's go ahead and hit undo a couple of times and put that back right where it was. Now keep in mind that this not only works for within the document, but also to other documents. So you can open up 2 or more documents, and with those documents opened, you can cut it from one and paste it into another. So to keep it simple, let's just come up here, click on the File tab, go backstage, go to New. Let's create a new blank document. So you can see down below on the taskbar, I've got our original document here, and then the new generic document, document 4, right there. So with it still on the clipboard, let's go back here. We cut it, it's back in the document, but it's still on the clipboard because when I go to the blank document, I can right click, and look at that. I get the destination theme. So if you're in another document, as far as pasting goes, you can choose that. Otherwise, you get the 3 other basics that we just went over. Keep the source formatting, merge formatting, or keep text only. We'll talk about themes in a later training video, but for right now we can just say keep text only, keep it simple. And you'll notice that here in this document, for all new documents, I get the font Calabrese size 11, and back in my original document is Times New Roman size 12. So if I say just keep the simple text, it just matches with whatever's in the document currently. Or you can click on the drop down arrow after you paste it and go, that's not what I meant to choose something else. Now, this little tag is always going to be there until you do something else. And what I mean by that, for example, is that if this is in the way, after you paste something, you're like, I can't see the text that's, let's say, behind it here on this line. Just go ahead and go off somewhere, and typically what I do is just hit the space bar and it disappears. And then that way I can see what was behind the tag and work with that. And that tag will disappear after you're done pasting and you start working on something else. So if you're like, I want to change the options here, too late. But there are other ways to be able to apply the same formatting of where you pasted it from, but we'll talk about that in a later training video.